The modern age of antibiotics starts with Sir Alexander Fleming, who introduced penicillin. This antibiotic was used worldwide to treat millions of people, and by the 1940s, this antibiotic was used in all pharmaceutical companies and doctors' offices to treat bacterial infections. However, even this antibiotic has its limits, and resistance was already beginning to happen by the 1950s. So to help solve this problem, beta-lactam antibiotics arose. However, shortly after this, bacteria began to produce an enzyme that opens the beta-lactam ring and inactivates this antibiotic. Along with this, MRSA resistance also became a huge problem among hospitals as it was highly resistant to the antibiotics we had. So pharmaceutical companies began to develop more antibiotics, which have become more resistant in today's society. Not many antibiotics are being made today, which makes this a serious threat to our population. This slide shows some antibiotics that have been made by these pharmaceutical companies, some of which have been shown resistance from bacteria that are supposed to inactivate them. This slide just goes to show the vast variety of antibiotics that is out there. However, many, if not all, of these antibiotics will soon become non-usable due to the resistance from bacteria. Kirby-Bauer assay is a method of testing antibiotic effectiveness to bacterial growth. Here's actually one of my plates from microbiology lab. This is antibiotics on E. coli. The circles that are around the antibiotics are called zone of inhibition and are where the antibiotic prevented bacterial growth. Some had it and some did not, showing that antibiotics are specific to certain types of bacterial organisms. Antibiotics use different mechanisms to help shut down bacterial agents. For example, beta-lactams disrupt the wall formation through synthesis. Aminoglycosides and tetracyclines use 16S RNA binding mechanisms to help change its conformation, overall inactivating it. And macrolides use the same type of mechanism, but instead bind to 23S RNA and 50S subunit to change the conformation of the bacterial agent. These mechanisms are very advanced and effective. These antibiotic-resistant bacteria are becoming a huge threat because people can get this very easily. It has even been found in the water around us, which could cause harm to everyone's health. Since no research has recently been created on new antibiotics, doctors run out of options for patients who encounter microbial resistance. As much as hospitals and clinics try, these patients with these bacteria could potentially spread it to others, causing an outbreak. Resistance works in a simple process. In a colony of germs, a few bacteria become mutated. These mutations give the bacteria resistant properties, which prevent inactivation when antibiotic is used. This allows it to multiply and affect more of the body. This just goes to show how it only takes a few mutations to cause this antimicrobial resistance, giving rise to how crucial this problem is in today's society. Even easily curable illnesses today, like pneumonia, tuberculosis, and small infections could be incurable for doctors if microbial resistance continues to grow. Although some may think it will never happen to them, it is becoming more common as years go on. As of 2019, 2.8 million antimicrobial infections occurred and 35,000 people died from it. These microbes don't target certain populations or groups. It can happen to anyone at any time, which is why this issue is prevalent in today's society. Researchers are coming up with methods to help prevent antibiotic resistance. The first of which is monetary support. Many pharmaceutical companies and research facilities have stopped trying to produce new antibiotics as it is a risky financial move as some antibiotics can get restricted. Funds need to be allocated to keep up with creating new antibiotics if our old ones become not effective against microbes. The second is restrictions. Many antibiotics are being abused and overused in some countries as gaining access to these antibiotics is very easy. I've recently went to Peru and you could walk into any drugstore and buy antibiotics over the counter. So placing these restrictions would really help. Lastly, global surveillance. Another path could be implementing organizations to help oversee the production of antibiotics and surveillance of resistance around the world. So this just goes to show that we need to take steps to help prevent antibiotic resistance, as this is a very important issue in today's society.